Hey, Tony guys here. Y'all gotta forgive me. My forehead, I got burnt, got sunburnt. I'm up there thinking, man, hey, black people ain't finna burn. I just didn't want to put all that sunscreen on, and now I'm burnt. And was in the sun one day, so y'all gotta forgive me. But you want to pop on here, still going along in my series, and as we working through things and just really trying to educate because I'm noticing there's so little real education and real understanding. And every day there's another fake relationship coach that pops up online that just want some attention, want a hug, want I don't know, admiration from a woman. It's very, very few of us that are doing this genuinely and authentically and for the right reasons. It's sad. It's crazy to see, but just to see these little boys that just wanna be seen. Don't know what they talking about. Don't know what they want. Don't know that. Just wanna be seen. Just every day a new relationship code pop up, and it's just you gotta be careful. You got to be careful. So the first thing I'm gonna tell you is before you listen to a man, make sure he living what he teaching to the best of your ability. You ain't gonna know everything. You can't see all the behind the scenes, but before you take relationship advice from a man, you need to look and see, is he living the life that you want or respect in his single life, or his dating life, or his married life. If he is tore up from the floor up and he can't get it right, he lost as an upside down GPS. Do not listen to nothing he's saying, no matter how good it sounds. Because there is theory and there is law. And all of us can have good theories. But until you test them theories over and over and over and prove that it is law, then you don't know what you're talking about. It's just a theory. And it can lead somebody astray. You could be led astray and you could be up the creek without a paddle because you listened to what somebody thought they knew versus what somebody know. And so understand that right there. Realize that. And y'all, I'm working from home. It's so hot in Florida. My AC went out at my office. And I gotta get me somebody up there. And so just get to that understanding and really start to see that you have to be careful out here who you listen to. And to the ladies that's listening to this, don't be desperate. Do not be desperate for information, insight. Learn on your own first and listen as you learning from your life and what life is showing you, from what the world is showing you about men, about women, about relationships. Get those lessons. Don't miss the lesson that's right in front of your face. And don't just depend on everything you hear online. Get the lessons, hear that, and then be able to verify that in real life, to know what it is you listening to and who you listening to, because it's a lot of itching ears and it's a lot of people that knows you have itching ears and they just saying anything that come to mind and don't know what they talking about. And you have to realize that there's a lot of complexities and nuances to these connections between men and women, to these relationships, and it's not always going to be easily understood. And you have to take your time and really do the work so that you are protected. Because if you flying by the seat of your pants and you're not actually doing the work, you're going to get hurt. You are going to get hurt. And understand that every man is susceptible to a fall. Only God cannot be tempted. Only God cannot fail. After that, every man can fail. Every man can fail. And so you have to realize and understand that and be very, very vigilant in your learning, because I'm going to tell you what happens. And I was talking to a client the other day, and I was telling her about how a married man who is married and supposedly a good man gets a woman who is a good woman in the bed with him. And I say, what that man does, who is in a relationship and who is a good man, he will meet a woman who is classy, who is respectable, who is beautiful, who is successful, and he will just talk to her, just normal conversation. He'll have conversations about her business, about her ex, about her current boyfriend, fiance, husband, her kids, whatever it is she want to talk about, he will listen. He will be a sponge, and he will just listen, listen, listen. And the more she expresses herself in a vulnerable state, the more she gives, the more she expresses, the more she falls for that man, the more she appreciates and respects and values that man. And she will then have a unspoken affection for that man, and the man will know it. And what the man will then do is he will start to praise her. He will start to give her compliments, and he will start to say things to her like, you is one thing that you do, that my wife doesn't do, that my girlfriend doesn't do, fiance doesn't do. And you do this and you do that. And he will praise her and praise her. And then he will start to tell her after a little while that talking to her is almost impossible, because he realizes that she's everything he's ever wanted and ever dreamed of, and that he feels like he chose the wrong woman, whether it's a girlfriend, fiance, or wife. And he will make it seem innocent. He will make it seem authentic. He will make it seem pure. And that way it gives the woman the excuse to say, I'm not breaking up a happy home. I'm just existing and being me. And this man feels that I am a better fit for him than the woman he's with. And I feel like that as well about him. She don't realize he's playing a role, and he's going along to get along. And this is the type of game that Torrey Roberts played on Sarah Jakes Roberts. But at the same time, these women don't be innocent, because they be wanting the dream. They be wanting the image. They be wanting the marriage as well. And so they will ignore the red flags and that they being played and that it's a game, because they want it too. And they also are out to take that man from his wife or fiance or girlfriend. And so they have to convince themselves that this is just an organic chemistry lesson. This is a soulmate. And because they won't even admit to themselves that they're a Jezebel, that they're a home wrecker, that they're coming between a woman and her husband. They don't want to confront that truth and realize that they are aiding and abetting a scam artist, a liar, a deceiver, a manipulator, and a cheater. They don't want to do that. So what they will do is pretend to be innocent. And so it's the man and the woman. It takes two to tango, and we got to get past the point of just blaming the man or just blaming the woman. It takes two to tango. And these people will come together and they'll do this and be just as wrong as two left shoes. And this will happen over and over and over again. And so what we have to understand is you have to be mindful. And you gotta have just hard lines. Like you gotta have things that is just off limits. So as a married man, I have to remind myself every day. I cannot cheat, cannot say this to a woman, can't say that to a woman, can't do this to a woman, can't do that to a woman, can't be in this type of environment with a woman, can't be in this type of position with a woman, can't do none of that. I have to remind myself of that. And as I'm being reminded of that, and I'm doing the right thing, and I'm coming to that place, and I'm staying on top of that, that helps me stay in the clear. It's not to say that temptation is not there, that the thought is not there. I know exactly how to do it if I wanted to do it. But I give away that game because now that take up the room, the margin for error. Now I give you 100% of the game, so it's no room left for me to play the game. What a lot of these male relationship coaches are doing out here today is they giving you 80% of the game to leave 20% for them to play you. Play you out your money, play you out your position, play you out your mind, play you out your relationship, play you out your business, play you out your draws, play you out your house, play you out your car, play you out whatever they want to play you out of. Some of these men will play you and get you to drop your guard so they could sleep with your 18-year-old daughter, 19-year-old daughter. Some of them want your 20, your 30-year-old daughter. And will get close to you and get you to drop your guard. Some of them will sleep with you and sleep with your daughter. And y'all won't even know because both of y'all is under secrecy because he coming to you in confidence and confiding in you and telling you something. He asking you not to talk to your daughter about it. And he asking your daughter not to talk to you about it. So both of y'all being loyal to a fool and loyal to a fault, and now he done made you out to be a fool, and you done had sex with him, and he asking you not to tell nobody, and he sleeping with your best friend or your sister or your daughter, and is asking them not to tell nobody, and all of y'all is being right and dumb, and calling it right or die, and you're all getting played. It's so many levels to these games that men play, and it's so many levels to the game that women play. And I see the games that women play. I see the games that men play. I'm a man, so I speak more from that perspective because I'm not a woman, so I don't understand every game a woman play. I don't understand everything a woman do and how she move. But I'm always mindful and I'm always paying attention to say, okay, is this woman playing a game? Or is this authentic and genuine? Or is this just a ploy to get in, to get close, to me to see if I'm gonna cheat on my wife, to see if I'm gonna do this, to see if I'm always paying attention and I'm always moving and I'm also telling myself like, listen, if I make the decision, the stupid choice of cheating on my wife, I have to be committed and ready to go. And that is never the best thing to do. It's never the best thing to do, but that's why we see these situations with these pastors and these Christian thinkers and teachers and leaders. That's why we see them follow their bull crap. That's why we see them follow through on a dumb idea because the follow through makes it seem real, makes it seem authentic, makes it seem genuine. Keon Henderson should have never left his wife for Shawnee O'Neal. Shawnee O'Neal was supposed to be a fallen mistake like King David had with Bathsheba. That was supposed to be a mistake. And what did David do? He seen he did something stupid. So then he had to follow through with the foolishness to have Uriah's killed. And that's what these pastors is doing. And these Christian men are doing. Just like the young man who they talking about who got the channel, All Things Theology. They saying that now he's leaving his wife for this woman he met online or however he met her and been talking to her or whatever kind of affair. One report said that he's now refusing to repent and cut the lady off, and now he's left his family and he's moving towards a divorce. That is the stupidest thing in the world, because there's not going to be a connection closer than the woman who put up with your stinking boo-boo, the woman who loved you through thick and thin, the woman who was with you when you had nothing, the woman who was with you at your lowest. These men get with women who knew them when they was nothing, and they build up with this woman until they get a name and they get known, and then they cheat on their wife. And instead of repenting to God and saying, Lord, I made a stupid decision and I cheated on my wife, forgive me for my sins, come into my heart, cleanse me and make me new, make me whole, and moving on and stand with their wife and reconciling with their wife and rebuilding with their wife, they follow the foolishness. They follow the foolishness and they go forward and they cement a stupid idea. And now they get stuck and now they end up in a relationship or a new marriage that they absolutely hate and despise because 2 years in, they wake up and realize, just like the young man came out, and men don't tell these kind of lies. He came out and he said that Shawnee O'Neal called him and was like, I'm about to get married. Come give me some of that D. Break me off one more time. I believe the man. Because men, we just don't go out there telling lies like that on no celebrity too. And who got a husband. Because you could lose your life lying on somebody's wife. And so we just don't have a reason to lie. And so now, guess what? Now, the man wake up and realize, oh, did I marry a Jezebel? Did I marry a H.O.? And then find out that the answer is yes. But now you can't go back on your stupid decision because now you're going to look like a double fool. You're already fool enough for cheating on your wife or leaving your wife. Now you find out you up the creek without a paddle, and now you got to put lipstick on a pig. Now you got to spray perfume on a pile of doo-doo to make it look like you made a move that was strategic and it was a chess move and it was what you were supposed to do. And this is the stupidity that we get into as men. And this is what I'm reminded of daily. This is what I think about daily. And this is the way I process things. When I see a woman who look like she got everything that my wife don't have, when she doing all the things that my wife not doing, I take and I walk through that whole scenario and I remind myself that everything that glitter ain't gold, and that there's always something that's dark and creepy in the corner of a crevice that will scare you to death, and that I done learned how to deal with all the monsters and all the dark, creepy crevices and corners of my relationship, and I done figured out the landscape, and I done found out how to make it work, how to make it last, and that everything is going just fine. But if I go over here and I start all over with a new woman, the same way I am still learning my wife, even though everything you still learning every day, every year, I will have to start all over from square one. And it's going to be some monsters in some corners. It's coming out of some darkness. It's going to be some creepy things in some crevices. It's going to be some deep, dark secrets. It's going to be some issues that's going to pop up that could scare me to death and that could be too big for me to fight and win. Too big for me to overcome. But now I done broke ties. I done severed ties with my wife. I done threw all the hard work in the trash. I done left that and I done started all over. And now I'm facing new demons. And I don't have the weaponry or the tools to face these new demons. And I deserve to fail. I deserve to lose because I left something that God had already perfected, that God had already made whole. but it was my greed, and it was my lust, and it was my flesh, my human yearning for something more, yearning for something different, yearning for something new, that made me leave what was already known to charter uncharted territory. And I'm going to find some things over here with this new woman that could destroy me. And that's exactly what Satan wants us to do. That's exactly what Satan has for us. And that's exactly what the Lord gonna let us go through, because we was in sin. We was in sin to divorce a woman that was not adulterous. We was in sin to remarry after divorcing a woman who was not adulterous. So now the new woman that we get with, when we find out all her issues and everything she got going on, and we don't have the recipe, we don't got the playbook to handle it, now we toe up. And that's what these men keep doing. And it is a grave mistake. It is very immature. It is very irresponsible. Dare I say, dumb and stupid. But we have got to wake up. We got to hear the voice of God. We got to draw nigh to God. We got to realize that we not the best thing since sliced bread. We not God's gift to earth. We not God's gift to women. A woman was a gift to a man. We got to change our mindset. And we got to realize that, listen, ain't no woman going to be perfect. Ain't no woman going to have it all, just like we ain't got it all. So we got to love her for her flaws. If God give us half the mind to marry her, we got to marry her. We got to love her. We got to build with her. We got to cultivate with her. We got to learn how to trust her. She got to learn how to trust us. And realizing that that's never 100%. We say 100%, but you're not even supposed to put 100% trust in human. You put 100% trust in God, that he can work it out. That for the things you cannot see and the things you do not know, that he will illuminate and show you the dark corners and crevices, and how to handle what's coming at you, how to slay the demons, how to slay the dragons. He will show you how to do that. And he will give you the strength, and he will give you the wisdom, and he will give you the faith and the perseverance and the courage, the bravery, everything you need to conquer that demon in that season. And whatever you cannot do, whatever you cannot handle, whatever, he will give you peace to weather the storm. He will have you in a place and in a situation that you can keep going and you can get through. And even when things are not perfect, he will give you what you need to handle that which is not perfect. But you cannot just throw the towel in because things seem unsurmountable, because things seem too hard. You can't just quit and give up on your wife, give up on your situation because your thing is hard and you lusting over here, you lusting over there. You be better off sinning in the dark between you and God than to come all the way out publicly and to cheat on your wife, divorce your wife, and move on with your life and get a new life and a new wife. We need men of character. We need men of standard. And guess what? There is a remnant. There is a land. There is a promised land to where everything that's earthly, everything that's on earth that God has for the faithful, for the few, will be given to those men. To the men who can stand the test. To the men who can walk by faith. To the men who can consecrate and be obedient to God. We are going to receive every single thing on this earth that God has for us while we are here. And we will be looking at the men who could not walk with God, who refused to be obedient to the word of God. And not only will you see our peace, you will also see our jets, you will see our yachts, you will see our Lamborghinis, you will see our mansions, you will see the favor of that Abraham had. You will see the wealth of Solomon. You will see all of that on the faithful few men of God. And it ain't because we worship mammon. It ain't because we pray for material things. It's because it is a byproduct of faithfulness. Because when all of the stores is doing bad and they scamming people out their money. Everybody got to come to the one righteous, integral store. So when all of the money that's being divided amongst crooks, and there's no honor amongst thieves, when the thieves are exposed, when the crooks are exposed, then guess what? Everybody got to come to those who are honest. So right now, how these men who are not living right, they're receiving tithes and offering. When it's exposed that they're not living right, the tithes and offering is getting up and walking out of the church and going to the faithful man's church up the street. So now that man up the street receives a double portion for his faithfulness. And when the man round that corner and round that corner and round that corner and round that corner, when all these men cheat on their wives, or they divorce their wives and they leave their wives, all their congregation leave and they're going to go to the one faithful man's church. And that man is going to be blessed. He's going to have more in his barn house and his storehouse than he know what to do with. Not only is he going to be able to bless every single person in his congregation and have a give back and a feedback and a handout and a giveaway and a turkey drive and a backpack drive and a Christmas toy drive and a New Year, New You drive and a new all. He gonna be able to get members cars. He gonna be able to get members houses. He gonna be able to help pay rent, help pay lights, water, tuition, give scholarships. He gonna be able to do all of that and still have a double portion for him and his family, his children and his children's children and his children's children, because of his faithfulness. And that's what a lot of men don't realize is you are giving up on God before God get to show you who he is and what he got for you. You giving up on what God has called you to. And it ain't about the material things and all that. Just understand what I'm trying to say now. You got to go to that next level. This ain't that, all that is a byproduct. That's peanuts. You having a nice house and a nice car and the trappings of the world. God tell us don't store up. Don't store up where things come moth and rust and dust. Store up your treasure in heaven. So all that is meaningless. It's going to mean something to the people watching you, the people around you. But I have an exotic one-on-one car and I don't even wash the car. Because it don't mean nothing. I'm grateful. I'm thankful for it as long as it get me to point A to point B. But the car be absolutely filthy because I don't worship that. I don't worship. I got it because I can afford it. But I don't worship that. My treasure is in heaven. But I know everything that I need here, God gonna provide it for me, for my children, for my children's children, for my children's children. There's going to be things that God had me put in place on earth. The Bible says money answereth all things. So you think he gonna let you go without what you need when you faithful to him? No, he gonna give you what you need to render unto Caesar what's the Caesar, to pay your mortgage, to pay your bills, to take care. He's not gonna have you sleeping under a bridge and you crying out that the Lord is real and all this and all of that if nobody can't see his favor and his hand and his protection on you. God got you. He gonna take you to where you got to go. Torrey Roberts left his wife so that he could get with Sarah Jakes so that he could take over the Potter's house. His dream and the reason why he moved finally came to pass. But guess what? It's tainted. And it got Diddy blood on it because T.D. Jakes is associated with P. Diddy. And his name is drug into this case with P. Diddy because he was at them Diddy parties. And they is calling him a power bottle. So the Potter's house is now seen as the house built by a power bottle. But had Torrey Roberts stayed with his wife, Lori Roberts, he could have built a church 3 times the size of the Potter's house. If he would have stayed with his wife and kept his name clean, he could have built his own mega church. But because he was weary in well doing and he was getting desperate, he said, let me divorce my wife and 3 kids and go to this woman who is the heiress to a throne, but not knowing that's a tainted throne, because God don't want us to worry about our throne. We need to be eyes on his throne. And I'm using real life examples on this, not to attack nobody, but just to show you, because a lot of times we have spiritual blinders on. The devil puts spiritual blinders. He will put his blinders on you so you can't see the fallacies and the falsities of so-called men of God. And he will have you believing in a so-called man of God when the so-called man of God don't bit more no God than a can of paint. And you will be completely blinded because the devil done put those spiritual blinders on you. And it takes somebody who is not spiritually blind to open our mouth and to illuminate in the dark the deception right before your very eyes. How you being deceived, how you being played. And that's what's happening out here. It's a lot of people playing in your face and they not living what they teaching. And their intentions are not pure. And they coming out here and they using the name of God to deceive. They using the name of God for clout. But really, their heart wants something different. Their heart want the things of the world. Their heart want all kind of random sex. Their heart just want mammon. Their heart just want money. They ain't even focus on eternity and salvation. They focus on just earthly riches and wealth. And they focus on just feeding themselves and doing for themselves. What I'm trying to do with Tony Gaskin Family Foundation is get to the place to where I could build schools, to where I could build learning centers, to where I could build community centers and gyms. If the Lord bless me to be a billionaire, you're gonna see the effective and fervent manifestation of prayers. You're gonna see the on the ground, hand touched, where you can walk in and benefit from the presence of the Lord. You're gonna see what's being done. Like even what I'm doing with this boys group. This has never been done by no pastor that I know. Have they ever, all expense paid, taken young men around the country without charging their family a dime, without these boys having to pay a dime to show them new experiences. And I ain't talking about one time, I ain't talking about once a year. I'm talking about over and over and over and over again. And now I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna make the money to build my own gym, where them boys can go in there 24 hours a day. If they run away from home, they could go in there and take a shower, get on that court, then go get on that cot, go to sleep. They gotta have a staff with a van who could take them to school the next morning and drop them off at school, have clothes to wear, water to drink, food to eat, and have what they need. If their mom on drugs, if their daddy on drugs, if something going on, to have a refuge. And all we doing is we taking and we using, people is using the name of God. I say we, I ain't talking about me though. I'm just trying to be humble and inclusive. But all we is doing is out here is misusing the name of God to run business. Not even to really have an impact on people's lives. Here it is, my little foundation. We helping people pay their rent. We helping people pay their actual real bills. And there's people who is raising millions of dollars and ain't helped nobody pay now bill. Ain't helped nobody in no real way. All the money they raising is going to their salaries that's being split amongst the people in the church, and they paying lights and they paying water, and all they providing is a building for somebody to come in and sit down and worship the man on the stage, not even worshiping God, making the man their God, not even listening to God, going to sit in a pew and be finessed out their money to make that man richer. And the church not even, a lot of these churches not even doing the work of the Lord, ain't giving nothing to the needy, ain't giving nothing to the poor. And the Bible talk about that, helping the needy, helping the poor. I send so many Apple Cashes from my foundation, blessing people and helping them do what they got to do, pay their bills and do this and do that. People that's in my vicinity, in my network, people that I could see and touch, people that I could get to. No, I'm not falling for every scam that come through the email. I'm not doing that. I'm using wisdom. God said I ain't call you to reach somebody all over everywhere to where you don't know whether it's a scam or not, when it's people right here in your face that you could see in a struggle. That's who you need to be. That's who you reach first. And I'm going to raise up somebody in that person's city over there that could be a blessing to them and to help them. And the Lord will take and show me that. to actually anytime I get some money and I raise some money, I'm already right now looking to do a thrift store, looking to do a learning center, to go broke, actually touching lives with the hand of Christ, so that they say this learning center that gave me tutoring was started by a was started by a man of God, a Christian. This thrift store that gave me clothes was started by a Christian. That these outreach centers and these places, these give backs is started by a Christian, a man of God. We got so many, we see so many men in a pulpit begging and begging and begging, twisting their whole congregation arm, but and they will show us they G-Wagon. They will show us they multi-thousand-dollar clothes, but they won't show us where they is actually doing the work. And then anytime they hear a message like this, the best they could do is put some money in some baskets and have people come to the stage and take it. No, you earn enough money from these people to have a $1,500 a month learning center. You got a church. Where's your learning center in your church with tutors getting $15 an hour to tutor all the students in your church? Where's your thrift store in your church where people could come get free clothes and free shoes? Where's your meal bank where people could come get a lunch, could come get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich at the least at your church? Why is your church only open on church days and it's only open for a service? Where is the food? Where is the clothes? Where the financial literacy classes at to help people better manage their money so that they ain't got to be asking you to help them for their rent, for their car note? The church need to be a resource center that is helping people live by the Holy Bible in every aspect. Study the ant. Too much folding of the arms lead to poverty. Learn how to invest your talents, meaning invest your money. Church need to be teaching financial literacy. Church need to be teaching how to be a good steward over what God give you. That job that you prayed and prayed and prayed for, and now you making 70,000 or 100,000, but you still just over broke. This is the type of stuff I'm trying to learn. And as I learn, this is stuff I'm trying to teach. That's people look at my insurance company and don't even realize that's about financial literacy. That's about generational wealth. That's why I named my agency the 1322 agency, from Proverbs 13:22, that says a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. People don't even realize that's what that's about. That's why they think I'm just selling insurance just to make money. No, I'm trying to put you in a vehicle to where you can set your kids up to be millionaires, so that the church don't have to be begging, so that the children of God could utilize the legal vehicles that is on this here earth to become legal millionaires, and you don't have to always be J-O-B, just over broke, like somebody created that great acronym. You don't have to be just over broke. You don't have to be having your hands out. You don't have to have a dead end job that could fire you tomorrow and replace you the day after that. But you could take and get you a license and go out and give other people something that is necessary for their life, which is a life insurance policy. Every single human need that. So this right here is common sense business. This right here is kingdom business. This right here is utilizing a vehicle that God put on the mind of man to create this system. And this is a system where you get earthly wealth, because your salvation is your spiritual wealth and your heavenly wealth. So you still got to be able to learn how to do earthly things so that you can get earthly wealth, just like the Bible talk about in the book of Proverbs. Why you think it put the parable of the talents in there? To tell you that you got to learn how to make money, how to invest your money, how to double your money. Why you think it tell you don't muzzle the mouth of the ox that tread the field, and that a workman is worth double if he's faithful. A workman is worth his wages and double if he's faithful. Why you think it teach you money principles? Why do you think we've learned that the borrower is servant to the lender? I'm fighting so that I ain't got to be the borrower. I want to get to where I could be the lender, but being a Christian, I ain't going to make you a servant. I got a fintech company that I'm creating right now that is peer-to-peer lending, so we could help each other, teach each other, and show each other the way. so we could be a blessing to each other, so that we could be lenders instead of being borrowers. Instead of us being just swimming in debt, how we all doing at the creditors of Chase Bank and American Express and this and that and Barclay and this and that and all that, to where we could help each other. We could be our own bank. We could have our own, through our insurance policy, have our own bank and be able to lend from there. Be able to give and hand and bless other people from that. That's what we got to get to. And so, but we have to learn this by being men of standard, men of integrity, staying the course, walking with the Lord, doing what He called us to do, staying on that right path, and letting Him show us who we need to be, who we need to be with, what we need to be doing. But hey, this Tony Gaskins, God bless you. And I'm going to be in touch with you. Got to call one of my coaches in my boys program. Just called me, so I need to hop on off, see what he's hollering by. God bless you. All the links is in the description. Tony Gaston Family Foundation. That's in the description. You see the real work we doing. Go to Tony Gaston Elite on Instagram. You'll see my boys program and us going around the country with them. Also, you will see my insurance agency if you want to join my team, my main core team. I only have, I think, 20 some spots left on that. So if you see join my team, you could join. It's only $100. That's admin fees. I don't get none of that 100. That goes to the insurance company, the field marketing organization. And then if you need insurance, you don't have insurance yet, you'll see a link for that. Get insurance. I got the one where if you need to do it yourself, from Ethos and just Term Life. All the important links is in the description. God bless you. We'll talk soon.